Recently, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or the famously called RSS, has completed 100 years of its establishment and is absolutely important of an organization to be studied, considering the present relevance that this organization holds, even in becoming or being called as the backbone of the BJP in this present politics, right? So, this particular video is about RSS, about its genesis, and all the dimensions about this particular organization, which is important from the examination point of view. And also, we will try and solve one prelims question in the end. So, without any further ado, let's begin. So, why are we discussing? Because of the 100 years completion of the establishment of the RSS in the year 1925 by Dr. K.B. Hedgewar in Nagpur. And over the period of 100 years, it has shaped, the organization has shaped itself as an influential socio-cultural organization that has helped India shape not only in terms of the revival that it tries to bring in the Hindutva ideology that it tries to propagate, but also tries to shape debates on nationalism, identity, and politics in India. So, of course, it was a very small group of volunteer to start with, but over the period of time, now it has shakhas, or also called as, or also the branches all around the world, having millions of followers, right? So it definitely is an important organization to be studied, not just for the fact that it is in controversy. Of course, RSS, for all the good works, but also for the bad works, is in news. So not the bad works, sorry for the word, for the controversies, right? For all the controversies that has presently come up with respect to this particular organization, that was also pretty much in news. Now, even before we talk about all of those things, let's try and understand the history behind the formation. So it goes back to the early 1920s, when it emerged as a cultural movement to strengthen the Hindu society amidst colonial rule and the communal divisions, which mostly were happening because of the British rule, right? So this directly talks, or this is directly because of one of the important incident, the Kakori train loot incident. We have made a dedicated video on this particular Kakori train incident. Even in fact, it has been 100 years since this particular train loot, and is also very important. We have made a video on that. Please do check it out in the playlist. So we will not discuss more about the Kakori train incident. We will link the topics videos in the description below. Please do check it. However, few historians say that the British officers who nagged all the freedom fighters who looted this Kakori train were mostly Muslims, or maybe it could be possible that Britishers deliberately hired Muslim officials to nag all these freedom fighters who are Hindus, to ultimately bring this communal divide, because that is what Britishers did mostly. And in fact, this formation, the RSS, was a byproduct, or emerged as a cultural movement in order to strengthen the Hindu society. So this was the formation, the genesis, right? And talking about the post 1947, despite initial bans and state scrutiny, the organization expanded through community outreach, education, and welfare work. So, although this had initially started as an organization to unite or strengthen the Hindu society, it later was famous for the other aspects also, and it expanded its complete stance mainly because of its community outreach, which mostly focused on education and also your healthcare, and also so many welfare work, like how they helped the disaster relief, or let's say, in terms of helping people during disasters and most of the things, right? So that was also pretty much the condition or the stance of RSS post 1947. Of course, there were also bans put on this particular organization by the government also, which we will study in the further slides. And as of today, the organization claims that it has members worldwide, with shakhas, or the branches, nearly in every Indian district and affiliates. So, talking about the ideological foundation, the foundation of the ideology was mostly based on V.D. Savarkar's ideology of Hindutva, right? Which means viewing India as a Hindu Rashtra nation rooted in cultural unity, and it emphasizes discipline, service, and cultural pride rather than electoral politics. Which means RSS mostly thrived in achieving V.D. Savarkar's ideology of safeguarding Hindu, let's say Hindu population, or making India a Hindu Rashtra, or mostly trying to imbibe all those Hindutva philosophies like Manusmritis, right? Reviving the Manusmritis, or adding the key features or qualities of Manusmritis, especially uplifting or talking, or giving push to the Varna system, right? So all of these things are the part of the Hindutva ideology. However, this mostly did not just stick to that, as most of the people know RSS for in this present day. It also mostly emphasized for its discipline, service, and also cultural pride, and mostly other than the electoral politics. Because if we go back before 1947, right, alongside the RSS was the Hindu Mahasabha, which worked pretty much on the similar lines of how RSS was working. But RSS never directly linked itself to any of the political, or let's say elections that happened before independence. But however, the Hindu Mahasabha were directly participating in the elections, and they were directly into the politics, unlike the RSS. This is also one of the important point to keep in mind. And also another important fact is that RSS, however, having so much of influence in shaping India's communal, or let's say India's cultural unity, it has no evidence, or let's say historians say that there is no direct evidence of RSS being responsible or being participating in any of the international freedom movement. So this is also one of the thing. It has participated, but not directly. That is also one of the important point. Anyway, advocate, talking about the ideological foundation, it advocates reviving indigenous knowledge systems, like what we discussed, like talking about the Manusmritis, Sanskritized culture, and civilizational continuity of Hindus. Ultimately, the ideology is to make India a Hindu Rashtra, right? So this is one of the simple ideology which is propagated, or which has been influenced by V.D. Savarkar's ideology. Now, talking about the cultural and social contributions, it is not just only known for its cultural unity that it tries to propagate, or the Hindutva principles, but also is mostly known for many of the important activities that does not, or gets sidelined because of the controversies that they are in the news for. So one of the major things or aspects of the RSS that we have to definitely cannot ignore is how the investments, or let's say the usage of the funds that they get in building schools. Like we have the example of Vidya Bharati, and many of the projects which work on the tribal upliftment. Example is Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, and their missions, lot of health missions, and the disaster relief operations, and their works in uplifting the rural communities, especially through rural development programs, and how they promote self-reliance, cooperative movements, yoga, and Swadeshi industries. And ultimately, all of this to make sure that it is trying to bridge, or let's say break that divide between castes through initiatives that stress Hindu unity. So this is also one of the aspect of the RSS, apart from the Hindutva ideology that it mostly tries to propagate. Now, talking about the political and institutional influence, though RSS itself avoids elections, as we discussed, it is widely acknowledged as the ideological mentor of BJP. That is also one of the important point, and this is pretty much known because of all the famous leaders that India saw. Most importantly, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and even the present uh, Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and they were all from RSS, if we just see, and hence RSS is also considered to be the ideological mentor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And not only that, it provides cadres, leadership training, and organizational discipline, which has shaped modern right-wing politics in India, right? And also, this is pretty much evident with the rise of BJP ever since the 1990s, which is pretty much proving the influence of RSS in the national politics. This is, however, the photo of the volunteers of the RSS. Of course, the uniforms have right now changed, so the uniform also have been recently upgraded. Now, even before we end the video, or solve the prelims question, let's talk about the criticism also, the controversies also. So, what are the controversy? One is the RSS organization is deemed to be known as an extremist or exclusivist organization, mostly talking or working for majoritarianism and completely ignoring India's pluralism. Right. So exclusivist because it does not try to few of the moves, or let's say few of the opinions of this particular organization usually sidelines the India's diversity, or it mostly completely ignores the secular feature of the Indian constitution, right? So hence it is considered to be an exclusivist organization, and also one that talks about majoritarianism, and also it is considered to be ignoring India's pluralism, as it houses, as we know, India is housed for more than let's say a lot of diversities. We have people from all the communities, we have people from all the religion, right? And hence RSS being majoritarian, this is completely sidelining India's pluralism. And next is the historical bans highlight tensions between state authority and RSS mobilization. So this is also another important thing. Very recently, the ban on RSS was also lifted. And talking about all the bans, the very first ban happened in 1948. This was post Mahatma Gandhiji's assassination, because it was done by Mr. Godse, right? And Mahatma Gandhiji's assassinate, which happened afterwards, the RSS was banned because Godse was once a member of RSS. Of course, he was also a member of Hindu Mahasabha, and since he was a member of RSS, a conspiracy was created that even RSS had backed the killing of Mahatma Gandhiji. So hence, it was banned initially for a brief period of time, and later it was also banned for all the government employees, officials, to not join the, or let's say to not become the individuals, or let's say volunteers of the RSS in the 1966. And later in 1975 to 77, it was once again banned during the emergency time. And also in the year 1992, it was once again banned post the demolition of Babri Masjid. Right. So all of these bans have happened, and another important controversy or the criticism is with respect to how RSS is functioning, right, in terms of mobilizing its Hindu unity, or its concept of reviving the Hindutva against the state authority. So that is also one of the dimension important criticism. And also, however, critics argue that this version of nationalism risks blurring the line between religion and politics. So this is one of the biggest controversy which is still there with respect to RSS, that it is trying to mix religion into politics, because ultimately we know that politics is very much essential part and parcel of the Indian constitution. Without having a political system or a political party, governments cannot be formed. And just because government has to be formed doesn't mean that religion is a factor on which the government tries to get votes to form the government. Because government, to be formed, it has to get the confidence of the people, and getting the confidence of the people should be through the works of the government, in terms of how development has been the utmost priority of that government to ensure it for its people, rather than telling religion or bringing religion into the politics, where making statements which says that your religion is in danger, so elect us or put us in government, we will save your religion. So this is what is the controversy with respect to RSS as of today. So hence it is considered as an organization which is trying to blur the line between religion and politics. However, any topic, any concept will have both pros and also the cons. Now we have discussed the cons. Let's also talk about the key takeaways of this particular organization after the 100 years. Because from the UPSC's point of view, you cannot always take one particular stance, or let's say go extreme. It is always important to catch the middle path and stay balanced. And hence, we as UPSC aspirants, it is important to understand the issue from all the dimensions, not just the criticisms, but also the good aspects also. So on this 100th year, let's try and understand all those important key features or key takeaways from this organization. One is the institutional longevity. It is one of the very few organizations from the modern India that have sustained growth, and all because of the discipline that the organization and the dedication that it had in terms of all the good works that it did. Right, and of course, we cannot just say that it is because of the organization's discipline and dedication, but also because of what the organization was doing for the people, that people left or made sure that this organization became this big, right? Talking about all those millions of followers and hundreds and thousands of shakhas around the world, it is obviously because something good is also happening from this particular organization, which we cannot absolutely ignore, right? So that is one key takeaway. Next is the cultural nationalism. RSS shaped a powerful narrative of identity that continues to dominate political discourse, which is pretty much evident in how BJP is currently become the most popular political party in the country, and it is also famous for its dual identity, where it has functioned both as a socio-cultural body and also a political powerhouse through its affiliates. Anyway, this is all for this particular video, and this is all is what you need to know about RSS. Now we'll solve one prelims question and end the video. With reference to the RSS, consider the statements. It was founded in 1925 by KB Hedgewar in Pune. It was banned during the emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi. It directly participated in the Indian independence movement by leading Quit India protests. Consider the following statements. Use the comment section, leave your answers below. That's all for today. Signing off, this is Madan Gopal. Have a beautiful day.